So I've been thinking about how I wanted to go about this video, how I wanted to start it. How I wanted to start this discussion about Game 5 of the WNBA Finals, the decisive Game 5 between the Liberty and the Lynx, and how I want to talk about the entire series. I didn't know the game was going on last night. I thought for sure they would not have scheduled it to go against Sunday Night Football, especially a Sunday Night Football game that featured the Jets, who are quarterbacked by Aaron Rodgers, even though there's a lot going on there. He's not been himself. I might probably make a video about that at some point. But it's still Aaron Rodgers, who's a draw. Football itself's always a draw, but especially when you got Aaron Rodgers versus the Steelers, who have a fan base that will follow that team to the end of the earth. A very good team this year. Their quarterback platoon of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields appears to be doing well. So I didn't know the game was on until it was over. Our internet has been down since last night. It was still down this morning. That's why I'm here in a parking lot of a movie theater trying to probably try to upload it from here. Or I might just go home and hope it's been fixed. I don't know. I went out, had a medication check. Medications for anxiety so that I can function as a functioning adult in the world, hold a job, keep a job, go to my job, work, earn a paycheck, and pay my bills. And maybe do something fun here and there on the side. But I thought about doing like a lot of people do with their videos. They're really good at it. I probably don't have the personality to do it. I was going to try it anyways, where I'm like, let's see, the WNBA Finals tonight. Oh, wait, it was last night? Okay. Did it go? Surely they didn't embarrass themselves, right? Right? Oh, my God. But no, it's not even funny anymore. Kind of a fitting in to this season. The game was an embarrassment. The officiating was absolute trash. Nobody involved is a winner. The Lynx had it stolen from them, and even the Liberty. I mean, that championship that they won and had a good chance to win possibly on their own, maybe. Didn't look like it, but, I mean, that championship's going to be tainted forever. It's going to be like the 2006 Miami Heat championship. It'd be like the 2002 Lakers winning the Western Conference Finals. And I love me some Kobe, but that Game 6 was the worst officiated game I'd ever seen. So I didn't have a chance to watch this game, but I looked at I was able to see whenever we'd get just enough internet to be able to watch some stuff on YouTube. I could see all the lowlights, some of the highlights, and it was ugly. The WNBA just cannot get out of their own way. The fix was, it looked fixed. It looked very, very fixed to me. Cheryl Reeve called it out after the game. I know I've had some things to say about Cheryl because of her comments towards Caitlin Clark, but I got to give her credit for being consistent. She's going to say what she thinks, and this time I feel like she called it exactly how it needs to be in her post game. She said it was stolen from us. It was set up from the word go. The Lynx deserved a lot better. Nafisha Collier deserved a lot better. That foul from Brianna Stewart at the end, she went to the line about 1,000,000 times. The Lynx didn't shoot a free throw till the third quarter. The whole Liberty team went to the free throw line forever, all game. Just a bad game, officiating-wise. It could have been a good game, but as soon as the Lynx started to draw it to a lead, it was curtains. The refs weren't going to let it happen no matter how bad the Liberty were playing. Brianna Stewart is not all that. For her shot to send it into overtime this time, she actually made her free throws. She caught the ball on the kind of the left-hand side above the key with her right foot almost on the three-point line. She was inside the three-point line. Caught the ball, kind of without dribbling, kind of did a hop, took a few steps and did another hop into place, then dribbled once, picked it up, drove her shoulder into the Lynx player who was in perfect defensive position. Can't think of her name on the top of my head. I apologize for that. Went to shoot the ball. The Lynx player put her hand on the ball, altered the shot, completely fair, textbook good defense, Brianna just kind of chucked it at the backboard. It was called a foul. She got 2 free throws. They sent to overtime, and that should not have happened. Like I said, the Lynx were robbed, and the Liberty are going to have to live with they got their championship, but at what cost? It's going to be a championship that's going to be mocked for the end of time. They're going to wind up wishing they didn't have it. That's just how trash the officiating was. And that's been a theme. The officiating's been bad all year, but to just blatantly rig games, the series I did watch, the 2 games where the Connecticut Sun beat the Indiana Fever in the first round because of Caitlin Clark, I was watching it. The Sun were going to win. That's all there is to it. But you could tell the officiating was going to make sure of that. Nothing was called hardly against the Sun, and they basically mauled the Fever, and the Fever, every ticky-tack thing got called against them. So they have issues. This league has issues. This league, there's just a big spotlight on this season because of Caitlin Clark. A lot of people were watching them that never watched them, and you saw how woefully unprepared for the bright lights they are, how woefully unprepared for the attention they are. And there's a lot of reasons for that I have gone into ad nauseum in these videos. The whole, they've never had to answer. Nobody in the league's had to answer for, the bad play, the bad officiating, the bad attitudes. There's never had to be any recourse for that, and we're seeing that. Obviously, they're able to have their own little echo chamber, their own little bubble. And, like I said, I've talked about all this stuff ad nauseum. And it showed up all season, and it's turned a lot of people off. Now, a lot of us love Caitlin enough that we're probably going to watch again next year. Another year like this, even I will have to just say, that's it. I can't do this anymore. I don't even know if I can make it through another whole season like this, even if the Fever are good. It's not sports. It's just a bunch of people, looks like it was thrown together. So I've done a lot of complaining about the league on this video and a lot of my other ones, but I'm going to actually offer some solutions here, at least what I think needs to be done. Maybe it's unrealistic. I'm not there. I'm not in the room. I don't know how they do stuff, but here's what the WNBA needs to do for the 2025 season if they want if they really want to be a success. If they don't want to go back to the dark ages of, an average of, 270,000 viewers per game, 5,000 spectators if you're lucky for a lot of teams per game. If you're a high drawing team, maybe 9,000 to 10,000 spectators per game. 12-team league, 27 years in. And again, that's all another stuff I've talked about a lot, but they have to acknowledge the fact they are not in good shape and that they need saving. Okay. Now, is Caitlin Clark can she do it on her own? No. She tried this year and darn near did it, but so many of us, I loved watching Caitlin. I loved watching Kelsey Mitchell. I loved watching Aaliyah Boston. I loved watching Lexi Hull. I loved watching Erica Wheeler. But there's just such a bad taste in my mouth for having watched the WNBA. But there's potential there. And there's a lot of things they need to do. First of all, they need to absolutely have a complete rebrand of what the WNBA is. They need to change the logo. They need to change the color scheme. I get it. They've kind of gone towards the orange, which is a good thing. It's kind of separating them a little bit from the NBA, but it's just that they've got to come up with something that doesn't even look like anything they've ever done before. It's a little bit rough because I know Kobe was a big supporter of it. I like Kobe. The statue they made outside of the Staples Center of him and his daughter, Gigi. She's the one who passed away with him in the helicopter accident. He's wearing that jersey and sitting next to her at a WNBA game wearing the Philadelphia Eagles hat that she gave him. So you kind of hate to see that, but they're going to have to change the colors, change the logo. Change the logo to Kobe and Gigi. Do that. They do something, this whole Commissioner's Cup thing, which I don't know what that's supposed to be about. Rename that the Kobe and Gigi Bryant Memorial Cup. Make it really mean something. He loved women's basketball. He loved being a girl dad, and he wanted to see it succeed. I'm sure his widow would be all about it. I mean, she, like I said, had that WNBA hoodie on his statue of him and her daughter, his daughter, their daughter. But, her daughter, too, she's being immortalized. I'm sure it means more to her. I know she loved Kobe, but I'm sure that means the most to her, having her daughter that she had to lose. Like I said, change that. Use them and have an absolute rebrand. I mean, the WNBA as we know it is toxic. The brand name's toxic. I don't think you can change the name of the league, but everything about it is just toxic. They need to just completely rebrand the look and everything. As far as how it's presented, as far as the logos and all of that. Second thing is all the officiating. Anybody involved in officiating needs to be fired immediately. And I hate calling for firing. I don't want to see people lose their jobs. I hate doing that, but this is cold, hard capitalism. It's a tough economy. I don't want to see people having to look for work, but surely they can find work somewhere, just not in the WNBA. And they need to be very public that, okay, we're completely getting rid of the officials, the head of officiating, whoever makes the decisions on officials, whoever hires them, whoever has any involvement. They all need to be wiped clean and have new people put in. They're officiating, the reputation they have is bad, and it's not going to get any better unless they completely clean house. So that's another thing they need to do. They need to get a new commissioner in there. Kathy Engelbert just is not the face, not the strong face they need. David Stern, there's a lot of issues I had with the way he handled a lot of things. But at the end of the day, he was that guy, and what he said went. And he had the authority, and he let people know he had the authority. And he made it clear he was going to do what it took to make money. And if you weren't on board, like I said, have fun overseas. And once again, try to end up in gulag. Yes, I know I make a lot of gulag jokes, but I can't help it. I'll probably make a lot more gulag jokes in the future. But you've got to have somebody up there saying, this is how it is. I've talked about it in the past. I've used the term adult in the room about 1 million times. I mean, you've just got to have somebody up there that's going to say, look, this is how it is. And like I said, either step aboard or step off. Don't stand there and say, oh, I don't know about. No, you're off. Bye. So that's one thing that needs to be done. Media training. Absolutely. Every team needs, and every NBA player needs to have, as a part of their training camp, 1 week of very intense media training. I'm talking like 5 or 6 days, 8 hours a day, or 9 hours a day with a 1 hour lunch break and a couple 20-minute breaks here and there, where they are given media training, where they have to do mock interviews, where they have to be told or have people go to their social media page and post some pretty crummy stuff right then and there and have them read it and immediately do an interview. I mean, they've got to figure out a way to present themselves better. The WNBA Players Association, I kind of gave them hell I gave them a lot of hell for browbeating that USA Today writer whose name is so important I can't remember it. Very woke writer, for asking a question about the eye poke with Dejanay Carrington. Maybe they, like I said, maybe they know what they're talking about. Maybe they understand that, our players, the more they get interviewed, the less good we're going to look. So we need to try to browbeat and intimidate reporters into not asking them questions. Well, they need to get to the point where that's not the case, where they can actually handle themselves in front of the media. They've not had the spotlight on them. And you can tell the players, the league, and everybody, they look like an organization that suddenly had a very bright spotlight put on them via Caitlin Clark that they were not ready for. And you could see all of the flaws exposed. You can understand why this league has been so bad for so long. Again, all the stuff I've talked about ad nauseum, 27 years No, never turned a profit, losing money. Now the owners want to know why they spent all this time and poured all this money into it. It's just a money pit. They're going to have to do something about that. So, like I said, intense media training, and if they don't come across well in their media training, then they have to do more media training. And they can't take the court or be a part of the active team until they can learn how to take a question. That's just all there is to it. And then, like I said, the style of play, they've got to find a way to, like I said, it's hard to say because you see so much, one way players get mugged and it's okay, and the other way, little ticky-tack calls send them to the line. Got to get rid of that. Got to have a better rules package, a very clear rules package, and people and referees that will call it straight down the middle. And if they don't, then, obviously mistakes are going to happen, but if mistakes happen repeatedly, and if they happen a lot in a game where it looks like you're trying to, where basically it looks like they're bet on the game, that's all there is to it. I don't know what the line was. They look like they bet on the game, and it looks like their financial future is at stake. When you got, back to the game last night, even LeBron James is tweeting, calling out the officiating. Now, granted, with LeBron, it's just wired into him. When an NBA official makes a call, he goes into complaint mode, unless it benefits him. He wasn't on the court, so it didn't benefit him, so he's just automatically in complaint mode. But, when you have just the sheer number of NBA players calling that out, talking about it looks like the fix was in, which I think was a passive-aggressive way of them saying this is happening in our league, too, which it looks like it is to a far less obvious extent. But I think it's kind of their passive-aggressive way. But they saw it, and they knew what they were looking at. Even Dawn Staley, of all people, was calling it out. Good Lord, you talk about somebody who doesn't really have room to talk about anything when even she's, taking a dump on your officiating. That's bad. And another thing that they're going to have to find a way to fix, I don't know how this is going to work, they have got to make it where there's not so dang many missed layups. That just absolutely is such a turnoff to see so many missed layups. You got people like Angel Reese. I know I've pissed on her a lot, but she kind of deserves it. She's 6'4", long arms, just camps out under the basket. She does have generational rebounding talent. She'll catch the layup, she'll catch the rebound, try to go for a layup, and miss so many of them. How do you do that when you're 6'4" in a league with people who aren't? I think the average is less than 6'4". How do you just keep missing these layups? I don't know if training camp needs to be nothing but layup drills for 2 weeks. If at least once a week they need to have nothing but a layup day, we have like leg days and working out, like we're just going to work on layups. And again, that's where lowering the rim might come into play. I was never a fan of this whole we need to lower the rim so the ladies can dunk. If they lowered it to 9 feet, would they be able to dunk? Yeah, but you wouldn't see the crazy explosive dunks like you see in the NBA that makes things so exciting. Michael Jordan contorting himself in the air every which way. You're not going to see those types of dunks. But if the rim was lowered, instead of having to go for a layup, they could, do what I call a Larry Bird memorial dunk. I don't mean to keep knocking Larry's athletic, or lack of athleticism as far as brute athleticism, running and jumping, but he's 6'9" and he never had really explosive dunks. He could basically jump just high enough to put it through the cylinder. So that's something maybe they need to look at. I know the ladies are not happy about that idea, but you want to make money or not, these missed layups are killing you. They're killing interest in you. So how bad do you really want to be taken seriously? How bad do you really want to be part of a money-making league? That's a question they need to ask themselves. And if the answer is any or more than just a little bit, or just a little bit and or more, then, I mean, lowering the rims needs to be put into consideration. I think they also need to make the ball smaller. I know the WNBA plays with a ball that is smaller than the ones they use in the NBA, but women have naturally smaller hands, and I think they need to knock about another inch off of this ball's diameter or circumference or whatever the circular unit of measurement is there. I think it's circumference. They need to knock at least an inch off of that, maybe an inch and a half. Like I said, women just have naturally smaller hands. And they're having a really hard time rebounding, you know. Maybe Angel Reese is just, maybe her hands are just big enough. Who knows? There's been a lot of times rebounds will fall right in their hands and they miss them. They drop them. And, you know, like I said, I think that's a part of the layups too. I think they have a hard time controlling the ball, you know, just going straight up for a layup. You know, you see a lot more turnovers as well. And like I said, just the way they shoot it, you know, they kind of do that kind of like shot, a lot of that shot put, and kind of like, instead of the, you know, normal, you know, motion like you see from a lot of guys, you just see a lot of that. And I think it's just because the ball is so big for their hands. I think it's one thing they definitely need to look at is, you know, shortening or shrinking the ball even more. Because I think it's too big for them. I mean, they've already got the ball you use is shorter than the one the men's use, so keep shrinking it. You already got that, so maybe you can do that without lowering the rims. But maybe you try that for a season. If that doesn't work, say we're going to 9 feet. That's it. And probably the biggest thing, looks like the WNBA players want to opt out of their collective bargaining agreement. I think they said November 1st they're able to. If I'm the NBA, if I'm the people in charge on the WNBA office, I'm letting them do it. I want them to do it. I'll bait them into doing it, which I don't think you have to. I think they're going to do it anyways. And I'm going to say, you know what? We'll talk after your 3 versus 3 unrivaled league takes off. Let them go out there. I know unless they get Caitlin Clark, they're not going to get viewers. And I know they're making a full court press for Caitlin Clark, but I'd be, maybe through Nike, I'd be talking to her saying, if they offer you something and you might want to do this, we will double it under the table. Nike will be like, yeah, we're re-signing Caitlin Clark to a much larger deal, and it's to keep her from playing in this league so that it'll flame out. Once it flames out and they realize that in order to get extra money, they're either going to have to make themselves likable or to earn to earn endorsements, or they're going to have to continue to go overseas, which is a risk, especially in some of the places they play. Gulag, Russia. But, you know, basically let that happen and you're going to have all the leverage in the world. And you're going to have to say, look, here's our agreement, and if you don't want to be a part of it, we will bring new players in. Because like I said, 95% of the audience watching this now cares about one person. And if your name's not Caitlin Clark, it's not you. Asia Wilson, it's not you. Brianna Stewart, it's not you. I mean, you have to let these people know that, you know, you're not going to dictate to us how we're going to run this league. You've tried, and you've had the league you wanted to have for a long time, and it did not work at all. It has not worked at all. Now you've had a glaring spotlight put in, and it's not good. So wait for that to happen. Get yourself a very good CBA where their salaries are dependent on revenue brought in. And take the opportunity to say, look, if you want to make anything more than what you're making now, you're going to have to hope the league starts bringing revenue in, and then offer, say your salary's going to be based on what we make. Kind of like the rest of the world. Capitalism. Yeah, there we go again. There's me talking about that again, but that's just the truth. So many changes need to be made. I'd be interested to see if anything does get made, but if not, we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching. hate it for the Lynx. I don't know if any of them will see this or not, but like I said, I hate it for you. You got robbed. The Liberty players, you finally got their charter team. They finally got their championship. I hate for the fact that championship is going to haunt you more than it's going to bring you joy over the years. It's crazy. It's just crazy, and hopefully it gets fixed. Not holding my breath.